reading some of those, and I know, you know, when you read those and you think, boy, now that lawyer is going to be in front of the judge. How is the other side going to feel when they have an attorney who just professed how friendly they are with the judge? And, you know, again, not to say that Angela can't be impartial, but boy, that does leave parties with a feeling maybe that they aren't going to have a fair shake.
Thank you. Next question asked if you're interested in commenting on the ruling of the Dane County judge, I believe I'm going to mispronounce her name, Mary Ann Sumi. Her ruling on the controversial budget repair bill and elements of it. Do you wish to comment on whether you thought that was appropriate or an example of what you don't think a judge should do or should do?
No, the only comment I would make again is that it's a court ruling and it should be followed out of respect to the court and the system.
I believe what might be our last question. This race has become somewhat heated, it appears, and maybe controversial or divisive. As if you are elected, how do you propose to heal that divide? How do people coming before you in court know that they're going to be treated impartially?
Well, I think that I would think that I haven't been a member of any political party, and that, I guess, is my only point. I'm not saying, or I haven't made any statements that way, so I don't know why people would believe that I can't be impartial. I am nonpartisan, and that's what I have always been. Regarding, I don't know, I'm not quite sure what the question is.
Okay. It probably wasn't asked very well. So, the last question, I guess I lied in saying that was my last question. This will be the last question. I don't think there's really been any commentary much about maybe what might be considered the administrative aspects of being a circuit court judge. Do you have any comment about the role of the judge in administering his or her courtroom and, you know, the administration of the judge's courtroom?
Right. Well, I think, again, I guess I would look back at the municipal court a little over 5 years ago. I started that court from scratch. There was nothing except for the direction to start a court. And I used, drew upon my experience from the various courts I had practiced in to develop the procedures and the forms and hire the staff and train the staff. They hadn't ever been clerks of court. With that experience, I made a municipal court, and it's been a very successful court. And we meet more than 3 hours a week. And for the municipal court in Sheboygan, by the way, you do have to be an attorney. And not only am I licensed, it's a little ironic that my credentials should be questioned. I'm not only licensed in Wisconsin, I actually first was licensed in Illinois, and I did have to take a bar exam, unlike in Wisconsin where you just get into the bar if you graduate, which is fair enough. They only have, 2 schools so they can control the amount of education the lawyers have. But I did have to take the bar in Illinois and pass it. I did have to apply to the various federal district courts where I'm admitted to the U.S. Supreme Court. There's a process in getting admitted to each of those bars. And so not only am I licensed in Wisconsin, which is the requirement for the municipal court, and licensed elsewhere, but regarding working with staff, the staff that I have, we work very well together, and I think we have a great team, and that's why we are so successful. We have so many people who, again, even though they're found guilty or whatnot, I think I am very compassionate and helpful in helping them take responsibility and understand that that's a good thing for them and for our community, and then they can move on and start with a more positive role in our community. And I see that I would think in the circuit court I would follow that same ability to set up that branch 3 and work very well with the employees.
Thank you. That concludes the question portion of the Circuit Court forum tonight, and so now we'll go to the closing statements, and you can proceed.
Okay. Again, I guess I would just ask everybody to please review the experience of the candidates. I find it ironic and unfortunate that I have to try to defend the practice that I have had. I have many years practicing as a litigator, and litigation is in the courtroom, and that means that was the kind of practice I chose to pursue. From the time that I first was in law school, and actually when I was in college and got exposed to the concept of being a judge, I had spent my career basically understanding that while to be a judge you need to have a variety of exposure. I worked for a judge for 2 years in the Chicago area full-time, as a full-time job, and then went to law school at night. And that experience really impressed upon me how I need to expose myself to all areas of the law, and that's what I set out to do over time. I did stay home. I have 5 children, and I think that's a good thing. I learned a lot being at home with my children. Lots, and that's why I think I'm so great with the juveniles in my courtroom, because I understand where they're coming from and what they're doing and how the challenges that they have in their lives. And so I think that my experience and, again, my nonpartisan stance is really important, and I hope you all just come out and vote on April 5th. Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes the Circuit Court portion of tonight's forum, and at around 7:30 we'll begin the forum for the Supreme Court Justice race. So stick around, 7:30 we'll start.